to maintain the site. So not hacking the modules if you're new to Drupal, if you haven't had to customize a Drupal site yet, not hacking your modules is basically the easiest way to make sure that there is an upgrade path. Now that said, if you have to hack it, well then hack it, but keep the patch, keep your stuff up to date, and patch it yourself. But just as a general rule, not hacking is better. If you need more reference, then I'd recommend Crafting Drupal by Greg Canadison, which talks about the security implications of having outdated Drupal websites. So again, these are just really rough beginner sort of tips. Number 3, of course, should be a no-brainer, but amazingly, a lot of stores do launch without SSL protection. So you want to secure your checkout and login pages, and the module for that is just called Secure Pages. It's written by the guy that wrote the e-commerce module, and what it does is, let's see, I think I have a screenshot here, is it gives you just a text area where you say which pages should be secure, or you can flip it and say which pages don't need to be secure and secure everything else. So Secure Pages is just a very basic module that will do the redirect to the proper HTTP or HTTPS based on the filtration settings which work, much like Drupal's block visibility settings. And there are a few other things involved in that module. The UberCart SSL FAQ is number 2941, and that will have a link to, I guess there's somebody's forum post that says these are the pages that I secure when using UberCart. And the reason I mention this is because it may seem like a no-brainer what do I want to secure, but there's some tricks to getting the module to work right with redirected payment gateways. I know that this FAQ thing mentions how to trick the module into accepting some of that stuff. So Secure Pages is also a UC SSL module, but I don't have any personal experience with that. And I guess you just have to check out the maintenance record of that module before you decide to use it. I think Secure Pages is a pretty safe, well-used, well-tested solution. All right, so tip number 4 is to mind your WYSIWYGs. And of course, a WYSIWYG editor is something that every one of my clients wants, but that I hate implementing. And the reason being that the WYSIWYG editors for Drupal, they tend to just look for a text area and attach themselves to it. So every text area in your Drupal website suddenly becomes WYSIWYG enabled. And the problem is that all the WYSIWYG, well, not all of them, but most of the WYSIWYG editors are inserting markup into the text area, even if it's a place where markup will break the functionality. So this has been, I guess, a source of quite a few UberCart support requests because people are getting HTML and email text area where they're supposed to put in an email address, and then all of a sudden the email address is wrapped in paragraph tags, and the mail server just can't handle that. So you're going to have to watch them closely. And my strategy for WYSIWYG editors, I already explained this. Sorry. My strategy is to configure whatever editor you're using to only appear in the text areas that you actually need it for. So for example, on one site, where a client really wanted this WYSIWYG editor, all of a sudden it's dropping a full WYSIWYG into the footer text area in the site configuration menu. And all I need is text there. I don't need to have images and links and everything else in his little footer message. But again, more importantly, all the different UberCart configuration text areas. We don't want HTML coming in there that's going to break the functionality of the cart. So I think he was using CK editor, and it basically just has a settings page where you say only include the WYSIWYG editor on certain fields. So my strategy for WYSIWYG editors, especially as it pertains to UberCart, but even in general for Drupal usage, is just to target specifically which text areas you actually need the WYSIWYG to appear on, and then just avoid it entirely if at all possible. Are there any questions about these first 4? They're pretty generic tips. But surprise, this is responsible literally for hundreds of posts on UberCart.org with people that can't get their emails to send or their conditional actions for all sorts of stuff. So, all right, we'll move on then to number 5. Again, this is more of an ecosystem tip, showing your products off in style. A lot of Drupal themes are not optimized for e-commerce sales. They look like blogs, they look like corporate sites, or they just look like nothing, and somebody just sort of threw it on Drupal.org. And there isn't a specific purpose for it. And so you you can kind of make any theme, I guess, e-commerce-ish by tweaking it or customizing it. But there are themes that sort of start from a standpoint of, I want to sell something with this. And you can imagine the kinds of things that an e-commerce website would want to emphasize versus a blog website. So, for example, forms on an e-commerce website that say add to cart or proceed to checkout will need to be highlighted and emphasized. You want people to click those big shiny buttons that say give me money. A theme should take that into consideration. Additionally, the checkout form, by default in UberCart, the checkout form is just a little bit junky, especially the review page is junky, and that's my fault. But themes have been taking into consideration elements like the checkout forms, also the product catalog that comes with UberCart, and they just apply specific CSS, and then also some theme function overrides that just totally rewrite some of UberCart's output. And so I think most of what you'll find is companies like Top Notch Themes, I believe All Drupal Themes, and then one other that I'm forgetting the name of. They do specific themes developed for UberCart. And I know that Top Notch has several that have sold quite well, that are usually in the $200 to $300 range, that basically take care of all of the legwork for you. And I've used Top Notch Themes on a couple of sites so far, and they're easy to customize. I'm certainly not a designer. Anybody that looks at UberCart's output can see that I'm not a themer, I'm not an HTML guru, but I can take something that somebody else has done and customize it to match my store. And I know that they have, Top Notch has a lot of examples of sites doing that, so I highly recommend them. But as I said, I think it's all Drupal themes, and then maybe like top Drupal themes or something. They're all sort of following along and doing UberCart specific themes. So just keep that in mind as you move toward your launch is getting closer and closer and you don't have a theme yet. They're a really good resource for that. And then there are also a couple of free themes available. One being Opcare Prosper. I think it's the first one to be on Drupal.org that actually specifically targets UberCart. And also I think their Fusion, which is Top Notch Themes has this Fusion theme. It's a base theme. If I'm not mistaken, that actually has default UberCart stuff built into it as well. So if you want to do your own theme based on the Fusion system, you can start with that. Or you can start with Opcare Prosper. There's another one that I've been watching. Oh, Super Themes was the other company I was thinking of. Another theme that's being developed by Super Themes will be a free one targeting UberCart e-commerce usage. That's still in the works, so the best you can find right now are blog posts saying what they're doing and how things are developing. And I don't have any, are there any questions? Anybody else want to provide feedback on how to use the theme there to emphasize the products? Questions? I would just say don't leave it in Garland, but if you have to, I guess even Garland can be made to look pretty. And again, it's just about emphasizing what you want your customer to actually click on. And usually that means adding products to the cart and checking out. And then once they get to the checkout page, minimizing the noise. Minimizing the noise, meaning sidebars, header information, rotating image banners, and everything else. So whenever you go to the checkout screen on your e-commerce website, the last thing you want people doing is while they're filling out their address to see something on the sidebar and click on it, and then all of a sudden lose their checkout progress or get distracted from actually converting the sale.